Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, what is this? This is episode 4 of the newly revamped, not the Boss Battle Show.
This is
the Ronin Dojo.
That's right, as you saw in the intro. And it's a special one because right now is like a peak of fighting game moments over the last couple of days going
happening.
So we are going to first talk about the big one.
We are going to talk about it. We're just going to get right into it, guys.
The Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA Finals.
EVO 2017.
That's right. Announcements were made today.
Right. Announcements at the time of this filming and recording were made not but an hour ago.
Yeah, like they're still in the process of streaming some things, answering fan questions.
Yep.
I got to catch almost none of it because I was at work, and on my way hustling over here, I was like, so I came rolling in the door, and like you were texting me, and I was following their Twitter, so it was like everything that was announced was coming in like 2 and 3 times from people, and I was like, okay, good, it's gonna be there. That's nice. That's what I like to hear. So let's start with the first one. That was not a surprise to anybody.
Street Fighter 5.
Not a surprise, right? Like no shock whatsoever. Massive numbers from last year. I'm personally curious to see what numbers look like this year.
I bet they'll be lower.
I think hype died.
Yeah. There's going to be the hardcores, of course, that are like really, can do no wrong, and probably a huge Japanese crowd again, probably.
Right.
But I think it'll be much lower than last year.
Super fun to watch. I really enjoy watching that game for whatever reason. Like I think competitively, I really enjoy seeing what's going down. I don't enjoy playing it.
You know what's funny is every time I watch you play or like I watch a stream or whatever, I'm like, man, I should get back into that.
Yep.
And then like I'll play it and I'm like, it's just not my thing.
And then you actually touch the buttons and you're like, ugh, these don't feel good at all.
It's just not my thing.
But last year they had over 5,000 registrants. It was on ESPN2 main stage on Sunday, and then as they just announced a minute ago, there'll be 5 games on Sunday on the main arena, and Street Fighter was the first one announced for that as well.
Yeah, no brainers.
So clearly,
par for the course.
They're open up. That's their heavy hitter. That's the big dog. Number 2.
It was number 2 was Smash Brothers Wii U. Smash 4, which was not a surprise.
Just about as much of a legacy game as you can have, right? Is the Smash series. So, like, without Smash, there is like really no Evo. It feels like.
True. I feel like Evo was built on the back of Street Fighter and Smash.
Yeah. So, again, no surprises there. I'm sure at some point we'll all be watching the finals again and like, is this one over yet? Is this one over yet? Oh, it was crazy hype. That's the hypest thing I've ever seen.
Well, actually,
is it over yet?
That's how I feel when I watch Melee. I'm actually excited to watch because they did announce that Smash 4 would be in the arena, whereas Smash, which is the next game announced, Smash Melee,
right?
Which is again no surprise, but that one will not be in the arena this year. It will be Smash 4, which I think is a welcome change. I've always been it's always like I get that there's a crowd for it, but it's always like baffling to me. I'm like, guys, there's other Smash games. Let's move along here.
Yeah, and it's just so weird to see that CRT come out on stage.
But it's hype. Like there's a huge community for it. And everyone's like CRT, and I'm like HD.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like CRT, and you just like start to get into it. You're like, yeah, CRTs. Why am I chanting this?
Y'all got any more of them pixels?
It's like my phone shoots 4K.
I know.
So no surprises there. Seeing those guys in there. Both of us are as casual as you could possibly be in the Smash playing.
I mean, we enjoy it. We love playing it, but just like grab some beers, have some pizza, play with the bros type of thing.
Exactly.
We're not good at it by any means, but it's fun to play. I enjoy the series mostly because of the characters, because Mario and whatnot.
Truth be told, the only competitive Smash I'll watch all year long is Evo.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. I mean, I save all of my Smash hype for those 2 days.
Absolutely. So for us, that's not the big one, but obviously for the other half of the community there, those are like Smash players.
Exactly.
Like they're super stoked on that. So that's cool for them. Guilty Gear.
Yeah, Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear
Revelator XRD. The titles are bonkers.
XR Dose.
Yeah, exactly.
XR Dose.
I wasn't surprised there. I expected that.
Right.
It was there. One of them was there last year.
Yeah. So same game was there last year. It was still XR, but it was the first one.
Yeah.
It's not a sequel. It's just like it seems like they're doing like a DLC pack and retitling it, which is weird.
Right.
I need to look more into the details of that. I think they're doing like new levels, and there's 2 new characters.
Yeah, there's 2 new characters. There's some new levels for sure, but I'm not sure beyond that what constitutes it making it to be a sequel.
Isn't it so funny that like they're naming it as a sequel, and we're like, that's just weird. And like just like a year ago, they're like, this is MKXL. hotel. And we're like, ooh, all right, that makes sense. It's a different game.
It's true. I mean, yeah. I mean,
tiny little improvements. They changed the name, and we're like, for Guilty Gear, we're like, how is this even a sequel?
Yeah.
But they're like, here's Ultra Street Fighter 4, and we're like, oh, it's a new game.
It's funny because here we are with like the umpteenth edition of Street Fighter 2, and we're like, fucking, that's the most hype fighter of the year for us.
I know, right? It's so like how that plays out is just kind of baffling. So basically the same thing as last year, but again, they were featured on main stage on Sunday.
Yeah, early in the morning though, right?
Which was excellent. So they were super early. First thing in the morning was Mortal Kombat. Remember, because we were
it was
at
like
the hotel and like we were all just haggard, like just
was that the night of debauchery beforehand, or was that?
Yeah, because Saturday night we Vegased.
We Vegased
hard. Some of us harder than others. That's true. That morning when we woke up, it was a little rough.
Yeah, you and Jared went hard.
Yeah, but what happens in there stays there, so let's keep our mouth shut. But then it was right when we arrived, Guilty Gear was in their top 8. Yeah, we were looking for our seats, and we were like trying out every single seat, like, this one's okay.
Yeah, we're like, but what about that section across the auditorium?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we just like zigzagged the whole place out. But their finals were super hype, and that game.
The game is just super hype,
gorgeous. Totally. It's always so great to watch, and high level in that. I'm more excited this year because I spent a lot of time playing Guilty Gear, and getting into the anime fighters a little bit more. Yeah. So I feel like I've got a greater concept of what they're doing. But not to the level of like
not
being able to compete
with
them. Yeah, like for me, this is like I played Pee Wee football and I played high school football, so now I can watch the pros and understand the rules and have like a concept
that's
of what they're doing.
I like that. That's a great
but I just need to sit back and just respect those guys because they're so good. I'm not trying to jump into the mix with them on what they do. I'll just continue to enjoy it casually. But speaking of anime fighters.
Yes, because then next up was Blaze Blue, Central Fiction.
Yeah, Central Fiction.
Which was kind of, I was like, oh, really? Because that's 2 anime fighters.
I thought it was a fake tweet at first because I follow everything, people. I told people on Twitter, I was like, guys, I'm stuck at work. Send me tweets. Let me know what's going on. And it was like BBCF. And I was like, yeah, right. Oh, they are. Holy cow, right?
Yeah.
So, and everybody was joking. They're like, Evo's going anime. And I was kind of blown away because early on, we are always under the understanding that it's 7 games. Right, so like we're gonna get 7 games, and like so now we've got 2 dedicated to Nintendo, 2 dedicated to the the Air Dash and anime fighters, and we're like, okay, what's gonna get left out now? I'm sure like NRS guys, Killer Instinct, Marvel players, everybody at that point was just like, King of Fighters guys, they're all like, we're out.
Now, of all the games that are announced so far, Blaze Blue is my least hype one. Like it's the one out of everything that just didn't really click for me, like character design and stuff. It plays great. Like I have no beef with the gameplay, but I'm like, I'm just not really sold on it. So like when they announced it, I was like, okay, whatever. Right. But then I was like, but that's a slot that could be taking something I'm passionate about,
Yeah, I mean, it's like Street Fighter has the lineage, right? I mean, it's Ken Ryu, and it's so iconic, right? Like every match I've ever had there is, created moments like the moment number 37, right? Like Street Fighter is what it is. And then when you look at like Smash, of course you're passionate about that because that's just basically a bevy of every character that you've ever loved in every video game growing up, period.
Yeah.
And then they included Street Fighter guys into it.
That's true.
So it's like, okay, that's awesome. I think Guilty Gear and BlazBlue are probably the 2 that are most difficult for people who didn't grow up playing those games to start to relate to.
That's probably true because one of the big things that draws me to fighting games is because I'm obviously such a big fan of like kung fu movies and like samurai movies and Japanese things. So like I'm really drawn to characters like Ryu and so on and so forth, and like the Ninja, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, and the monks like Liu Kang and Kung Lao. I'm like, that's my shit. So and then when it comes to those games, I have nothing that because they're always like, look at this blob with the 17 eyes. I'm like,
he comes in and it's like he's just morphing into all these different things, and not only is it hard to grasp that character or have some kind of connection to it, but also I think watching it is very difficult as well because there's so many things going on the screen. It's not as much of just 2 characters battling for space and life bar. There's things are dropping down and there's traps and there's lights and like Jacko, for example, she's got the 3 little traps set up, and then there's little things.
She's so hard to fight against.
There's little things flying out of that. So if you're watching that from a casual perspective, I'm gonna be like, what is happening here?
Because those
Who
guys,
is
when we
fighting
watch
who?
that, it's going to be like stuff that we didn't even know you could do in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to be like, whoa!
Like, I had no idea.
But it's going to hype us up for it to get back home and be like, okay, so how do we do that? You know, shit like that.
Exactly.
It's going to be cool. Yeah.
So, like I said, I feel more confident this year for me because I put time into those 2 games. I'll have a better understanding of what's going on. But if you haven't seen those at all, there's going to be a shock moment because not only are you just being introduced, but you're being introduced at a super high level.
Yep.
So a lot's going to be going on, and just mechanically, you're going to take a moment to step back and be like, I need to check that out. I need to investigate that further.
And then post that, I think the next one that they announced was Injustice 2, which is a no-brainer. That releases in May, so that's a full 2 months that we knew that was going to be there. Today was also a big day for that, so we'll talk about that in our next subject. But
and NRS obviously deserves a spot because they just make fantastic games. So
I mean, the games are top-notch, polished. Yeah. Of course, they deserve to be there. It wasn't a surprise to me. I was pretty sure that MKX would get the cut in favor of Injustice 2. Injustice 1 was huge at EVO 2014, so it was not surprising again.
And like I was saying with Smash, Injustice gets the gift of carrying the DC characters with it. It's very easy to be like, that's Superman. I know that character, Superman versus Batman. I know what's happening here. These two are fighting. You can just jump into it, and I think that might pull in some really strong numbers. Oh,
I think totally, because like you're right, Injustice has the biggest advantage besides Smash to pull in casual players.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's got those are the 2 big casual games. Plus, it's it's easy to pick up and play. Not like Killer Instinct per se, but it's not of Guilty Gear complexities, and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, and it's just like I said, it's characters that you grew up with and you recognize, and it's very easy, I think, for somebody to be like, okay, this person is like half of a bed, and that's Batman. Like, Batman's going to win that battle for us.
Yeah.
Silly Merkins every single day of the week.
Right? Oh, buddy.
So I'm excited for Injustice, and after last year's finals with MKX, I hope that not only do they get a huge turnout, but I hope they get seats.
I hope that we can kind of...
and a screen.
I mean, I hope the seats are... I hope that situation's just radically different for everybody involved. But, we talked about this in a couple episodes ago, but I think that the NRS crowd was maybe pooped on just a little bit from Evo. I'm not sure the situations. We weren't part of the crowd last year. We didn't see all involved, but there was a lot of salty community members, which we don't want that to. I want everyone to have a good time.
So great opportunity to try and rebound from that, come back strong, show the love, and make sure that they're feeling like they're all part of it as well.
And actually, truth be told, depending on how something happens with the final game, that's probably the game that I'll sign up for.
Interesting. And the reason for that is the one game that you probably would have did not make the initial cut.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our next game that they announced was King of Fighters 14, which I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm not shocked by, but I'm stoked to see it in there because I think it deserves a spot. Yeah. And let me tell you why I'm excited about it.
Get me.
So this is a SNK game that deserves the attention because of their other IP that they have. The better that King of Fighters does, the more chance that I get to see a Samurai Showdown reboot, which is rumored to be in the works anyway. But if this gets numbers and people show up to it, this is almost like a shoe-in for them to continue on with some of their other IPs, which I'm excited about. So I'm stoked that it's there.
And that's literally been like your statement on King of Fighters from the day they even announced it was going to be a game. Yeah. You were like, I'm going to give them money because I want this.
Yeah. And it's a fun game.
Like you're seconds away from just calling the president and be like, what's it going to take?
Yeah, dog, come on now.
Like, come on. Like, how much I got to give you? Yeah. I got to write a check. I'm going to write a check.
I'll teabag you.
Yeah. Do you want me to leave it blank and you guys just fill it in as you go?
Like, but even it out to like $5. That's all I got in my checking account. Yeah, but you got that wiggle room.
Anything over that, we're gonna have to wait till next weekend to cash.
Yeah. So yes, I'm excited about that. It's a fantastic game. Also really easy to pick up for beginners.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. It's got kind of like a cool blend of like the simple combo system,
like that auto combo type of deal.
Yeah, and it's actually mixed in with their complex system. So it's just a really nice option for new players to jump in and watch, and it's also, I think it's fairly easy from a viewer standpoint to just see what's going on and understand.
Yep.
And also they just had that huge graphics update,
which
so
it's looking really good. Like I didn't think it looked terrible to begin with. So when I first saw the trailers and screens, like before it even came out, I was like, ugh. But then when I finally played it, I was like, no, it looks fine. It is what it is. It's fun, and that's really what matters.
Exactly. So that's very cool. SNK, NRS, those guys are all getting some representation there.
What was next? I forget.
Next, I believe, Tekken.
Oh, yeah. Duh. Or Teller 7.
Yeah,
as I was trying to text
Teller
you.
7 is iPhone likes to say. This one, so Markman comes out and does his presentation. Markman comes out and you're like, all right, we know we're getting Tekken out there. I'm happy that Tekken's there. I fully intend
it's kind of like a bittersweet victory.
Yeah, I fully intend to sign up. I will compete. I'm going to bring everything I can to the table for Tekken 7 at EVO 2017.
With your month of play.
With 1 month.
Yeah.
My God. I can't think of a scenario where it's ever been so stacked against us. Like, USA, let's show up. Like, we have to community on this stronger than anything. I'm going to start like a campaign right now. Like, we need like to come together. We need to abandon our hostile FGC roots, right? And we need to come together on this one
and unite.
Yeah.
Well, I think you might be surprised because last night we were talking just the two of us, and we were like, it's going to be like primarily a Japanese top 8 probably for.
I mean, so they've had the game for like 3 years.
They've had it's been out for a while. They're well versed in the characters, but then again, I think there's going to be some different things for the console release that make it. Different for them.
For them, it's a patch, so they get some small things to change. They understand the mechanics, they understand gimmicks, what's broken, what's not, or whatever. That's going to be harder for like me personally, because I have had very little hands-on experience. I only get it when I was like SCR, or I was at Combo Breaker last year. You get to play the original Tekken 7 for minutes, not hours, minutes. They've been playing for hours.
I wonder though, because. There's a lot of American Tekken players here, Tekken 6 and stuff. I feel like those skills are going to translate, so I don't think everyone's going to go in like completely blind, like you've never played it before. If you played Tekken, you'd probably be able to play Tekken 7 to a degree.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like playing...
Well, like I said, like when I played it, I was like, okay, I get what's going on here. Like, I feel confident and stuff, but, if you look at, like, let's just take Street Fighter 5, for example, and you have all these gods in Japan are getting together, and they have, like, an office where they're like, Guile's a problem, let's figure him out, and they get together and they just lab just consistently. That's what they're bringing to the table. 3 years of that to our 1 month of like, I'm gonna DP him when he comes in, because that's what I'm gonna do.
Are you still gonna main Akuma?
So Akuma's the natural one. I can pick up Akuma and I can go, and I found that out when I was at SCR. I was like, all right, let me give this a shot, and it was like, I know what I'm doing. I was like, I can play footsies, I can maneuver. I'll probably just have to get like simple things like max damage and stuff down.
Sure.
So that'll definitely be a great option for me. My goal is to also learn Tekken. Like, I very much want to pick up another character. I think Brian is super cool. I'd like to get down on that.
The fundamentals are different too, because it's a 3D game. So there's just different aspects to the game that you'd have to. And coming from so much time in Street Fighter, it's going to be probably like a bit of a little shock to the system to be like, oh shit, I can go this way too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I should probably rotate or lay on the ground and roll and like delay my wake ups and stuff. So that'll be cool. From what I saw, Eliza, who's going to be in there, she also has some jump mechanics as well. So that might help me.
That's a vampire, right?
Yeah, that might actually help me transition as well, because if you just gave me a straight up grounded 3D character, that might take me some time to transition, as opposed to my ability to, jump in repeatedly like a scrub.
I feel
that's where I come from.
Yeah.
Scrub Town. Yeah, population.
Oh, doggy. I feel you there.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty stoked on Tekken 7 as well because of the character lineup. Plus, I have a nostalgic attachment to it. I played the fart out of 2 and 3. So, super stoked on that. Tekken 7, and there was an 8th game, or was that the 8th game?
Let's recap.
Let's check.
Street Fighter.
Yep, Street Fighter.
Melee. 4. Guilty Gear. Blaze Blue.
Yep. Blaza Blue.
King of Fighters. And then Tekken. So that gave us 7 games. So we're missing one.
Okay, hold on.
What's the other one here?
The other... God damn it,
Look at this guy Twitter. Look at this guy Twittering over here.
I can't. And the other one is...
Drum roll.
Wait, the 8th title is King of Fighters.
Yeah. In order, it was that.
King of Fighters, Tekken, Blaze Blue, Injustice. Yeah, we didn't miss anything.
What did we miss?
Guilty Gear. Yeah, we didn't miss anything. So we covered them all.
Sure. I thought that was only 7. I just named 8. I just counted 7.
Well, your math. You've always been bad at math.
I've never been mad at math.
I know.
It's not even true.
So we just listed off the 8 titles, and 8 was already a surprise. So
after we double checked our math,
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 times,
And 8 was already a surprise because typically it's a 7 game tournament. And then
it was a surprise, but it wasn't. last year we thought they were going to start to expand and go overboard. There's too many things to pick from. So this year, when they're all in on Mandalay Bay, I was like, there's gonna be more than 7.
That's true.
There's got to be.
And so when they announced, the final game there for the 8, I was like, man, my game's not there. Killer Instinct's not there.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And I was just like ready to accept it because it's been out for 3 years. It's dying down. I think they're done with seasons. It is what it is. But then he's like, and then the 9th title, but it's up for vote. And I was like, what?
This is a user vote. So user vote, they're saying could be like Mortal Kombat XL.
Mortal Kombat XL.
And Marvel. And those I'd say are probably my 2 favorites to get in right out of the gate. Killer Instinct being my dark horse in that.
Yeah, we want it, but Killer Instinct's never had huge numbers. Not like Mortal Kombat did, and definitely not like Marvel.
Right. If you look at like Mortal Kombat sales, it's probably the most recognizable of the titles.
Well,
if you look at the lineage of fighting games, that's going to be Marvel for sure. Marvel is just that hype game. Like everybody wants to see the finals. We want to see that moment, like with Chris G last year. So, and
I'm pretty certain, and we could fact check this, but I'm almost certain that in terms of sales, that Mortal Kombat is still outsold Street Fighter V.
I would almost guarantee
numbers.
It.
I mean, it's a powerhouse title.
It was out of the gate one of the top selling games. It was the top selling game of the year,
and it was NRS's top selling game of all time.
Right, and every time I read about Street Fighter, it's like poor sales numbers. It's only moved 180,000 physical units or something. I'm like, okay, that thing's not doing well.
Yep.
But you're right. Killer Instinct's community, I think, for the most part.
So there's 7. I think I was reading there's like 7 million installs of Killer Instinct on Xbox One, but I'm not sure what what that means in terms of active player base. Honestly, I just don't see it getting in. Like the votes, I'll vote for it for sure because it's my game, but I don't see it getting in. And it's just it is what it is. I've accepted it. It's an old game. It's 3 years old, and I think it's time to move on to Killer Instinct 2, so to speak. So I'm ready for that.
Gold.
I hope it's there like casually.
Killer Instinct Gold. This time it's like Killer Instinct Platinum, and I'm like, yeah.
So and then we got Skullgirls.
I'd love to see Skullgirls. That. If you have ever been to Combo Breaker, where they're basically having their version of their Skullgirls Super Bowl, it is so hype. Once the combos get rolling and everybody in the fans are like watching, as soon as like it starts getting a little crazy with their numbers, everybody in the crowd is just like, hi, 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 and like it just gets crazy, and then they drop it, and you're like, oh, yeah. So I think from a fan perspective, also insanely cool to watch. And then you have a guy like Sonic Fox, who's been equally as dominant in that as he's been in anything else.
Sonic Fox is just like, is that a game? Let me be the best at it real quick.
Yeah, he's like, I've never played this before.
Yeah.
I win.
Yeah,
it's like
he's a phenomenal player if anything touches.
Pokken Tournament, they're out. I guarantee they don't get enough votes.
It's got a community, but it's a small community, and it didn't have a super good showing last year, especially because it went over time limit and fans were frustrated. Other people in other games were like, let's fucking go.
Absolutely.
So it's not going to get a vote.
That one's out.
Yep.
They're also potential. I'm going to say it. ARMS. I see.
Which is,
I see people voting.
Let's talk about it.
I see people voting ARMS just to be sarcastic, because they put it up there and everybody's like, "Oh, I'm going to do that," and like we all just do that, and at the end of it, they're like, "ARMS is the game," and we're like, "Oh shit, that won."
But here's the thing about ARMS. So if you tuned in for our Nintendo stream as we watched live, like, we probably thought that was the dumbest / funniest thing we'd ever seen in our lives.
I'm sorry. I'll retract it now. Like, we haven't played the game. I unfairly judged it right out of the gate.
The first impressions, they were like, what they are.
This looks awful.
But everybody says that ARMS is legit. Everybody that's played it says that ARMS is a real deal. Like, it's really fun. It's competitive. It's deep, is what I'm hearing.
You can't just, like, kit and paw everything.
Yeah, because you can play it without the motion. You can play it on a regular controller.
But you actually have to, like, counterpunch and stuff. You can't just shake controllers and hope to win. So there's strategy. And as soon as there's strategy, obviously the FGC shows up in droves, like, I'm going to be the best in that.
Oh, yeah. It's a legit fighting game. It's cartoony, it's childish, but then again, so is Smash, and that's proved its worth. So I think it's fair to say that there's a reason to give ARMS a chance. Well, if it sucks and we play it, then we'll be like, no, that game's dumb as fuck. But we haven't played it. So
we're going to feel awful when we're like, ARMS, let's do it. And then we play ARMS day one on launch. We're like, this game is booty. So the funny thing is that,
but I was surprised to see it on the list.
Yeah. Now they talked about there will be 5 games that are going to be played on main stage on Sunday. This was the auto pick. is whatever the fan vote is will automatically be in on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
So that's interesting because, like, let's say, for example, like you're a Mortal Kombat guy and you're like, disrespected again, Mortal Kombat's not in. You guys could basically auto-advance with voting.
That's true.
Directly to Sunday's finals. So there is still an opportunity to get your game in there. Same with Killer Instinct.
That'd be fun.
Same with Marvel. Those are people who I think are really, truly passionate about their community with the larger numbers.
Yeah.
You know, but it could be something fun and kooky like ARMS, where it's just like a cheeky, like let's break it up and have a good time kind of a thing.
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it if it's ARMS. Now,
the case I'm predicting I'll probably be in the finals. I'm just gonna say it now. Go back to this stream.
Now, the last two titles that are up for Player's Choice are surprising to me because they're not traditional fighting games, which says to me that EVO is evolving to be much more than an FGC focused tournament and is kind of just expanding out to a more competitive based tournament. And I love to see that. So we have Windjammers, which is a re-release of an old game that's on PS4, which, side note, we're actually pretty good friends with the developers of Disc Jam. So I kind of felt like when they announced Windjammers, that was like a jab to their game. You know, not that it was like on purpose, but I feel like that is going to affect their sales because Windjammers has such a big community base. So they're just kind of
I kind of disagree
there.
on that one because, you know, Disc Jam, like they said, it was because of their love of Windjammers that it was created. So I think it's only going to help aid that because I think a lot of people missed Windjammers. I personally missed it when it came through the first time.
I never ever played it.
And then what's funny is like you can go to like a fighting game tournament now and somebody will mention it and some dude just shows up with like a quarter in his hand ready to fight. Like he's not even wearing a shirt. He's like, Windjammers, let's go. I'm like, we're just referencing it, and he's like, I said let's go. I'm like, we don't even have a system. He's like, I brought my own. Slams down the computer. I'm like, what the hell? All right,
Windjammers hype.
But I think I would love to see a game like maybe, you know, Disc Jam like next year because
I think that's a huge possibility. If we got Windjammers this year, by next year Disc Jam will surely be out because I think they're in beta now. So it's, you know, far enough along. It'll be out by this year. I could totally see it being there, which would be like a really cool thing to see because last year I got like some fucking snot in my eyes or something.
I'm bugging.
Last year, Disc Jam was the two guys. They were there showcasing at EVO 2016 in their little in the indie booth. And it would be really cool to see that go on to become
that's right there
a title.
They did announce that they're going to bring back the indie area and they're going to have the artist alley and there's going to be applications for those things. That is the coolest thing ever. Just imagine that, like, dude, I saw you over there when you guys like just had like two characters and you just barely made a game and then they're on like the main stage of EVO a couple years later. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I would totally fully support that because they work hard and they're great guys.
And the other one was Nidfog. Midfog.
Forgive us if we're really kind of dumb on that. I've never played it. The most I've played of the character is in Dave Kick.
Yeah, so it's funny. I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't think that one's gonna get voted in. And you're like, oh, it's the little 8-bit guy from Dive Kick. And I was like, I know who that is. I had no idea what he was from. I know, like, believe it or not, somebody's actually confessing to not knowing something on the internet instead of like faking it. But I had no idea. So then I looked up the
real
game.
People.
Crazy. I looked up the game. It looks super fun.
It looks really cool.
I would
and
love
I imagine
to have a
fun.
game night on that.
Look at these nibs.
Yeah,
they
are erect now.
But we could do that. But again, another example. There's a fighting aspect to it, but from the videos we watch, it's not like a, you know,
it's not a straight up 2D fighter.
It's not a 1v1 like
not 3D or anything like that. Yeah.
So sweet, let's do it. I think it's great that they're there, and I hope they get good votes. I don't want those games to make it because I want my game to make it. But go.
Let's do it.
I'm probably gonna like cheat the system a bit. I'll vote for our Killer Instinct, and then I'll create another account to vote for ARMS just because I want to see what happens.
Yeah, because it'd be crazy to see. Yeah. Especially now, just imagine this, right? Imagine that like a Street Fighter icon becomes really good at it, and a Smash icon does. Like the finals of ARMS on Sunday is like Armada versus Daigo.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
my God.
And it's just like all the communities blend together, and everybody just.
But
like,
you know what?
explodes.
It would be even super cool is if like they played it legit with the motion controls. So like they're on stage, like actually boxing in the air and shit like that. I don't know how the controls work, but it would
and
be
as they
cool.
get to round 3, they just play the regular ones because we're tired gamer arms.
Because we're gamers.
Yeah,
we're not
gamer
in shape.
arms. Yeah. So that is the Evo 2017 wrap up. It sounds like tickets are going on sale tonight.
Yep. By the time you're watching or seeing this, tickets are ready and to roll. So go ahead and snag yours.
It's crazy. It always gets expensive around this time of year when you start looking at like,
Yeah,
I gotta book combo breaker, I got to book this, I got to book that. So
it was this time last year that we were booking the hotel, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
We booked that shit early as fuck.
So we should probably do that again. Yeah, just to be safesies.
Yep. So we're going to move on to our next subject. That wraps up Evo.